And hello, movie lovers. So today I actually have a very special guest with me. It is Michael Oblowitz. He's actually the director of a new film called Confidential Informant, and I can't wait to dive into this. And I also have Rossie here with me diving into this interview as well. So with further ado, let's go on ahead. Let's get started.
Hello, it's me. I'm here.
Yes, you are. It's good to see you, Michael.
Nice to meet you, Michael.
How's your sound doing? My sound's very distorted. How's yours?
Sound is okay on our end.
I get that.
I'm getting a lot of feedback. Sort of digital processing sounds.
It's okay.
Can I hear you talk one at a time?
You go on ahead, Ross.
Someone's got a feedback.
Yes. So I'm Rossie McCurry, and I'm honored to meet you, and I'm excited about the new film that you have coming out with Mel Gibson. Where did you get the idea for the film?
I'm having terrible distortion. How's this now? Can you hear me? Let me hear you talk, please.
Okay. This is John DiGregorio, and it's a pleasure to have you, Michael.
Can you hear him?
It's kind of
I can hear you,
bit.
but it sounds like you're in the missing submersible that disappeared by the Titanic.
It does.
It does.
It does. Can we fix it on our end, or?
No, this is actually something that we're not able to do on our end, unfortunately. This is...
I can't make what you're saying. I'm wondering what I should do to stop this feedback. I don't know why it sounds like feedback. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you a little bit, yes. Yes, but I get the feedback that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think I'm with Theo. He said that he thinks it's your phone. That might be the issue.
I'm doing some on my phone. Yeah, I'm doing some on my phone because my computer was giving us problems beforehand. So I cut out my computer. How's this? You want to speak now? Let's see.
Okay. Testing 1 2.
Yeah, it's
testing 1 2.
I could your headphones,
because we are live, but I mean this is the nature
right
live shows. I mean even remember Ron DeSantis' presidential launch set the problem, so it's a live show.
Right.
Should I let him reboot if he wants to?
Reboot back on? Would you prefer that? Because I can't really hear a word anyone's saying.
Yeah, that'll be fine. You can go on ahead and reboot. Okay.
You want me to reboot? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to reboot. I'm going to leave. You can talk, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem. So yeah, he's going to reboot a little bit, but if you guys have any questions from Michael or anything like that, go on ahead and just leave that into the live chat as well. That would be great for him to be able to comment and do those kind of things. But it's just a great pleasure to be able to have him here with us, to be able to talk about this new film with Mel Gibson in it. And of course, the writing looks like it's fantastic though, too, with the trailer. I have to say I was really enthused with the trailer. What about you, Rossie?
Yeah, I really like the trailer. I'm a big Mel Gibson fan, Kate Bosworth. So obviously those are the names that you're going to want to go and see because they're in the movie. But I do want to mention that the film is called Confidential Informant. It comes out, let's see, June 27th digitally, and then you guys can check it out in theaters on June 30th. So a little bit about the film, just so you guys would know what the film about. So we have a police detective suffering from cancer. He makes a deal with an informant to get killed in the line of duty so his family can receive his hefty death benefits from the department. So that's what the film is about. And the actors that we have in the film, We have Mel Gibson, guys. He's going to play Kevin Hickey. Kate Bosworth plays Angela or Anna Morin. We have Dominic Purcell, who plays Tom Morin. Nick Stahl plays Mike Thornton. Michael Kachek plays Kurt Harnister. And we have Russell Richards plays William Lerner. And there's a host of other big name casts that are in this movie. So what do you think about the cast, John?
I think the cast looks fantastic. I've seen of Kate Bosworth in a lot of films.
Right.
Nick Stahl is actually another person that pops up to my list of people that I like seeing in movies and everything. I know he played in Sin City, in The Bedroom. You know, when you look at all-star actors and stuff like that too, when you look at this name, I automatically think of Sin City, to be honest.
I get
it's just
that.
Yeah, because it's just like iconic thing of a Frank Miller film in that black and whites and him being on film. That was actually something that stood out to me. But Kate Bosworth is also another one that another actress that's hands down one of my favorites and everything too, because my favorite movie of hers is the movie 21, which is
right. Also, Dominic Purcell. Purcell, I remember he plays Tom Moran, and when you guys see him, you'll recognize him when you see him in Confidential Informant, starring Mel Gibson, directed by Michael Oblowitz. You guys will recognize him as well. He's an old school actor. And just like John said with Nick Stahl was a very young actor that started out. I remember seeing him when he was really young and, the 90s and mid 90s to, like John said, Sin City. So these are legendary actors, professional actors that have a great body of work.
Most definitely, and just to see them do this kind of movie and everything too, it's definitely something that makes me very look forward to seeing this film and everything, because it's not out yet or anything like that either. No. So, one of the things I liked was the action sequences in this movie. The action sequences made me was like, oh my god.
Right.
Yes, I'm over there. Like, whenever I do my trailer reactions, right, Ross? I'm like, animated. I'm like, but I love the stunt work in it. I thought the stunt work was really good. The camera angles to me look good and fresh, which is something that also enthuses me as someone that looks at camera angles,
and
stuff like that too. And the camera angles can be a character in its own self, and that's something that I feel like the trailer is actually doing. But the action sequence alone it makes me like it just makes me hurt. But
especially with Mel Gibson. I mean, when Mel Gibson does action films, or this film, guys, is a thriller, spy, legal spy thriller movie. So hello,
I'm back.
Oh, you sound wonderful.
You sound fantastic.
You sound great. Yes.
Good luck.
Yes.
Let's hope it stays like this. All right.
We're just geeking out over the movie and all, John and I.
All right.
Just over the trailer.
Did you guys get sent a streaming copy of the movie? Have you seen it yet?
No, we haven't seen it. We're just basing it based off of what we've seen in the trailer.
Oh, it's way better than the trailer. I'll tell you that much. Because some of the podcasts I've done today, they I guess Lionsgate is surreally selective in who they send it to. But did you contact the publicists at Lionsgate?
I didn't think about contacting them because I don't have the contact information at that time. So I was like, I'm just going to go off of the trailer and interview you that way. And because I was very excited for this movie and everything, as soon as I saw there was Mel Gibson, that's number one, and then seeing the cast and then watching the trailer, I was like really engaged into it and stuff like that too. And it also made me wonder, like, whenever you see this part with Mel Gibson, was it always going to be Mel, or how did it go along? What was the process?
Mel was on the radar for this movie for a couple of years. I mean, I think what happened is I wrote the movie with this ex-cop, Mike Kachek. It was his original idea, and he wrote the original story and screenplay that was then given to me about 8 years ago. Mike was an undercover narcotics cop in New York City during the 90s, 80s and 90s. And so he's the real deal.
Okay.
And through him, I spent a lot of time in New York City, hanging out with his fellow cops and really getting a sense of what that was like. And I read the original screenplay was a couple of hundred pages. It was way long, but it had a really good storyline in it, and which is still to the core. It's the core of this project, and it's based on actual events that Mike witnessed as a cop during his tenure as a New York City cop. I knew through my reps, my creative reps at Atlas Artists, Dave Fleming, had told me that Mel Gibson was looking for something substantial to do. And I've always been a huge Mel Gibson fan. Obviously, he wrote, directed, and acted in Braveheart, which is one of the great commercial movies of all time. Hacksaw Ridge. I mean, he was Mad Max, you know?
Right.
Lethal Weapon. Mel Gibson is in the top 5 of the greatest actors of all time, as far as I'm concerned. Certainly, few have surpassed him as director and actor. I mean, Passion of Christ, and just all these movies are infused with this manic yet cerebrally intense and intelligent energy. I mean, Mel is energy personified, and certainly one of the brightest individuals I've ever met. And I learned so much from working with this guy. That's why I wanted to work with him. I knew that he would infuse the project with a kind of radiance that that few actors could bring. And around him, we put together a superb supporting cast. Nick Stahl, who had acted with Mel when he was a kid in his first movie, in Nick's first movie, and who went on to have a stellar performance in Larry Clark's Bully. I don't know if you've ever seen that film, one of the great indie movies.
Yeah.
And then Dominique Purcell from Prison Break, and the
Yes, that's right.
absolutely magnificent Kate Bosworth, who's just an extraordinary screen presence. She just infused the movie with feminine intelligence that was just stunning, and with her incredibly wise and emotionally translucent blue eyes. I mean, just filming Kate Bosworth was just a stunning enterprise. I'd hardly call it an enterprise. It was like a gift. So, you know, we had a magnificent cast, and also Russell Richardson. One should not devalue Russell's performance as the arch villain. Extraordinary performance. So we had a very, very solid cast of actors, and they delivered. It's much more of a drama than an action film at its core. It's a cerebral film about men having to make very difficult choices in life, whether to uphold the law or to safeguard the future of their family. And it's about moral choices and what those moral choices entail, and the sacrifices one has to make in order to do the right thing. I was often reminded of the beautiful line from the mercurial poet Bob Dylan: "To live outside the law, you must be honest." I kind of try to live my life that way, and it was something I learned from a cop, from Mike Kachek, who said one of the best lines in the movie is sometimes you've got to do you've got to do what would be wrong in the eye of the law to but what would be morally right. Sometimes you have to do that.
It's about, right, try not to cross that line, but also to try to figure out a way to uphold the law at the same time.
Well, you have to
kind of thing.
You have to do a smaller wrong to make a bigger right, basically.
Right. Okay.
And that's really a kind of the underlying theme of the film.
Okay. So the other thing I have to say though too is the fact that I love how dialed in Mel is, although he's always dialed into his roles. But just that whole entire scene in the office, just in the trailer where he's yelling and stuff like that, is what engaged me more. It wasn't just the action sequences because it feels like a crime. It feels like drama. You have all that emotion into one thing and all those elements into it that really pulled me in. I'm like, forget about the action sequences. I just want to see Mel be who he is as an actor and be relatable to someone that's like us, and let it be fulfilled on the screen as well. And I think that you were able to capture that just from the few minutes I've seen on the trailer itself.
Yeah, well, that's my point. Is that the movie really is a drama posing as an action movie? It's much more along the lines of Sidney Lumet, Prince of the City, or William Friedkin, The French Connection, or Dog Day Afternoon. It's a movie, a New York movie first and foremost. It's about New York City, and it's about the underbelly of New York City, the dispossessed, the disenfranchised, people who spend their lives working really hard to make ends meet, and they're the underbelly of New York. You know, we see New York as this glitzy, glamorous place with multi-billion-dollar buildings and $30 million penthouses, but underneath that is the fabric of the city that works 24/7 to make it work, and this is their lives, and these cops give their lives for other people in order to uphold the safety of society, and they do it on low salaries that can barely make them survive, allow them to survive in New York. And the 90s in New York City, where the movie set in 1995, was a harrowing time. There was a major crack epidemic going on, and a lot of violence, ancillary violence that resulted because of the huge drug epidemic that had the city in its grips. And it was a dangerous time to be a cop, for sure. It's always a dangerous time to be a cop, but it was a dangerous time to be a cop then. And I wanted to capture the zeitgeist of that city. One of the things that you don't get in the trailer, of course, is the soundtrack. The movie has an amazing soundtrack done by Cypress Hill.
Awesome.
Oh, I love Cypress.
In the 1990s, it's a
Nice.
Yeah, so DJ Muggs of Cypress Hill and Roy Hay of the Culture Club scored.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, the movie is, you've got to see the movie. The movie is,
of course.
The trailer does not do the movie justice. The movie is way more profound. I mean, it's a great trailer, but the movie is way more profound and deep than the trailer. And it's a period movie with period music. We have Boy George gave us an incredible ending song. Cypress Hill gave us a credible opening song, and the collaboration between Roy Hay, who's the chief composer of the Culture Club, and DJ Muggs, who's the DJ and producer of Cypress Hill, is absolutely kick-ass. I mean, they really capture the sounds of the late 80s and the early 90s when they were massive bands, and so that's the soundtrack to this city. And Detective Kachek told me stories of driving around in the undercover cop car listening to Insane in the Membrane, on the and so the city throbs to that beat in this movie. So what I'm suggesting is you guys contact Lionsgate's publicity department immediately, get a copy of the movie to stream, watch the movie, and then we'll do this, and we'll really rock and roll.
That sounds, dude, seriously, we'll have you back again. I want to do this when we actually have the movie in front of us.
Right.
Yeah, but I think it will add a lot of flavor to it, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of this a lot of meat that I like to digest.
Right. And looking up your bio and getting to know a little bit about you, I was spending my day doing that, and to to know as far as you're talking about music and the commercials that you've directed and produced, the music videos that you directed and produced, the Diana Rosses to the David Bowie. So I was telling John we have to have him back so that we can watch the movie, but really dive into your career because it's a fascinating career. But a question that I have about the movie is, did you face challenges bringing the script to life?
No, I mean, I think when you spend years working on a script, it's already alive.
Right.
Because I have a very long background in independent cinema and, as you said, in music videos. I think it was the very first rap video on MTV, Curtis Blow, basketball.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, I wrote, produced, directed, and I was in those days. I did all my own cinematography. In film, we didn't shoot in video, so I worked with Curtis Blow, with Houdini, with the Fat
Oh
Boys.
wow!
I was like, my really close friends, Charlie Ahern, who directed Wild Style. We used to go up in the early '80s up to the South Bronx and hang out in in those big parking lots behind the hurricane fences where Africa Bambaataa. And there were not a lot of white guys there, but I'd grown up in South Africa, and I was an army draft dodger from the South African Army. That's how I ended up in New York. I was not, back in the late '70s when I left South Africa, apartheid was, going full bore, and shooting black people was not my cup of tea.
Right.
So I did 3 months of mandatory service, and then I got myself on light duty and bailed out of South Africa. I couldn't go back for 10 years. And, but I'd already, studied fine arts, and I was very good with a camera, with a still camera, and I'd shot Super 8 film and stuff. So I was kind of prepared to hit the ground running in New York, where I learned very quickly how to be a cameraman. And in those days, MTV was just starting up, and they needed guys who knew how to shoot. It's not like now where everybody has a video camera and anybody can shoot. Back then, you had to really know what you were doing. You had to load the cameras and light them, and it was an incredible time. It was like the beginning of rap music and punk rock and Patti Smith and CBGBs and amazing bands and Keith Haring and Jean-Michel Basquiat. Everybody was on the streets, and I was part of that crew, and I was the only South African anybody had ever met. I mean, it was like it was just a trip to come from the tip of Africa, where I was just like a kind of surfer boy, draft dodger, photography student, to the heart of New York City, which in like 78, 79 was like being deserted by the Donald Trumps and the upper classes. It was just a wild place where you could rent a loft, in Soho for $250 a month, and
wow,
and the Lower East Side was just hopping, and there was just music in the cafes at night and revolution in the air, as Bob Dylan said. It was a great place to be. So I was very fortunate to hit the ground running there, and right at the beginning of MTV, I made so many music videos. I mean, I did Freddie Jackson, right? Have you ever loved?
Did you do Freddie Jackson?
Oh, wow.
I did all these videos.
Wow, yeah, Freddie Jackson's a legend, and he had the best, I think it was 84 or 85, he had an album come out. I remember it was You Are My Lady. I think it was that album. Yeah. Oh, wow. Have You Ever Loved Somebody? Yes.
That's mine. And I worked with Peebo Bryson.
Oh, wow.
Melba Moore.
Yeah.
And, dude, I did so many incredible R&B videos. Because I was from South Africa, I had a real love for the blues and R&B. I worked with John Lee Hooker. I did.
Wow.
Okay.
I did The Healer that got a Grammy with John Lee Hooker and Carlos Santana.
Oh.
I worked with Buddy Guy and Jeff Beck.
Yes.
We did Mustang Sally. You go to YouTube. Here's the thing that I need to correct, right? There are hundreds of my music videos that I produced, directed, and shot on YouTube. And they don't have my name on them because when YouTube began, those videos were posted by some computer hacker guy who just would post the videos up, right? Without my name on them as director. Right. So I think there is, on YouTube, I think I created a channel that says directed and photographed by Michael Oblowitz, right? that I don't think it has all my videos, but it has quite a lot of them. I did a lot of country music. I did like Garth Brooks and Shania Twain and Brooks and Dunn. I did blues, country, R&B. I mean, I love music. You know, I play music, right? So I did a lot of music videos. And then in '96, I did a movie called This World and the Fireworks that got into Sundance and into the Cannes Film Festival, like official entries. You know, I did a bunch of action movies with Steven Seagal.
Right.
Yeah, I did a beautiful vampire movie with Bokeem Woodbine. What a fantastic actor!
Right. Yes, he is.
Yeah, and I did a great horror movie with Val Kilmer.
Right.
So I've had a pretty checkered career, you know, and then I've directed.
That's amazing.
A couple of surfing documentaries for Red Bull. So you know.
Yeah, didn't you win an award for that? Or
I've won tons of awards.
You won an award for that. The Val Kilmer one.
I've got a. You know, if I had $100,000 for every award, I'd be Mark Zuckerberg.
I hear you.
Your career, looking at just the music alone, besides all the short films and the awards, but just the music itself, you know, reading through it, I mean, who does R&B and hip hop, and then you have Brooks and Dunn, and then Garth Brooks, and then you have Carly Simon, and then there's Diana Ross thrown in there. It's like, it's just a fabulous career to be, like, you've been around everyone, you know? And I didn't know that because, like you said, your name doesn't come up when you watch the Freddie Jackson videos, or you watch, you know, I grew up on these people. They were in my household. My mother played this, and I never knew until I was reading about you today. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm telling John, like, he's done commercials, videos, like he's worked with David Bowie, like short films, and then the Steven Seagal films. I mean, I remember watching those films growing up, and then to know that you had a hand in like everything in the industry, pretty much. I mean, you pretty much have done it all in the industry. So it was very surprising and just fabulous. And the fact that you bring up people like Freddie Jackson, I mean, have you ever loved somebody that was just yeah?
I mean, I can still, you know, I have stories. I have fortunately, at my advanced age, I have a very good memory. I should write an autobiography. But I remember every video and every story. I remember you know, I loved Freddie. We were close because I never did just one video with guys. I'd get close to them and we'd do like 2 or 3. I did like a lot with like maybe 3 with Diana Ross. I went to Vegas with her. I hung out with her. I was the only person who didn't have to call her Miss Ross on the set. I drove around LA in a big white limo in the 80s with Diana in a white dress. I mean, Diana Ross was the most beautiful woman I ever set eyes on in my life, dude.
Absolutely.
I mean, I filmed her she was already maybe in her late 40s or 50s. She was just gorgeous, beyond gorgeous. And she was just a princess, you know. I had dinner with Diana and Stevie Wonder because he'd written the song that we did the video for, and it was insane. I mean, I was just a guy from South Africa, and I met all my heroes. You know, I wrote music video scripts for Bob Dylan, and I had dinner with him. It was like, dude, it was all just a story going, and you know, I'm still ticking like the Ever Ready Buddy. You know, I was always I was never like one to be in the limelight. You know, I just wanted to go surfing if I wasn't working. That's what I like to do. You know, like, you know, some guys grow up playing basketball. I grew up surfing. So that's what I like to do. I surf a lot. And then when I'm not surfing, I'm making movies or taking photographs, you know. That's my life. That's my life hasn't changed since when I got off the plane as an Army draft dodger from Cape Town back in the late 70s till today. I'm still doing the exact same shit.
And that's awesome, dude. Like, who would have known that, you know, you would actually go as far, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to go on ahead, do what I have to do, do the directing thing from MTV. And then next thing you know, you're growing this whole entire catalog of people and building relationships with them. And a bit of surreal, where it's like, I have to pinch myself to know that I get to hang out with my legends, the legends that I've grew up with and everything, you know, it's it's just flattering to me that you have such a great relationship with these people, and not only that, but the way that you got directed some of the Steven Seagal movies were just fantastic. I grew up on them.
Yes.
I really enjoyed the Steven Seagal movies and everything too. I grew up listening to Brooks and Dunn, Garth Brooks, all that stuff. And I just got to say that you put out some amazing stuff when it came down to your directing and your style. I really enjoyed it.
I won country music director and video of the year with Brooks and Dunn with My Maria. You know that song, My Maria?
I love that song.
Yes,
that's
actually,
one of my favorites.
Yeah, my
so
sister's a
that's
country music fan.
All of those songs, I would, because I really loved being a cinematographer, right? Like shooting in film, and I would design those movies, you know, because I have an art background as an artist, you know, so I would design the sets and work with art directors, and then I'd do my own cinematography and writing and editing, and kind of I'm very fortunate. I work with a superb cinematographer on my movies, Chris Squires, who's worked with me for 20 years, and he has a similar version of my career. He was a camera operator, but he worked with Vilmos Zsigmond and Andy Laszlo and all the greatest European cinematographers that worked in Hollywood. He was the cinematographer on Forrest Gump and all these incredible movies. And so we have just a great vibe. We're like these two old guys who've just done all this shit, and we can shoot the shit out of anything. I mean, we don't even give a fuck what the budget is. We just do it? You know, we just vibe in with the actors, and we design beautiful sets and lighting, and off we go. So I'd be very happy to see what your guys' take is on the movie when you get to watch it. You should call Lionsgate, demand you want to watch the movie, and then call me back.
Yeah, we'll
fantastic.
Definitely. Yeah.
Guys, I'm losing the signal again. It's doing the weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now your voice is breaking up. So do you want to continue this, or you want to just? Because
we'll go on ahead. We'll end it right now. But yeah, we'll go on ahead and end it right now. But thank you so much for joining us, Michael. This has been an honor and a privilege. Well, of course, we're going to go on ahead and review your film and everything too. And everyone that tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in. What we'll do is we'll have Michael back on again when we go on ahead and watch the film when we review it. And always until next time, guys, I hope everybody has a great and safe night.
Can I interject really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Before we go, I just want to also mention that the film is called Confidential Informant. It comes out June 27th. You can watch that digitally, and then it'll be in the theaters via Lionsgate on June 30th. So everyone go out. It stars Mel Gibson, Kate Bosworth. You have Nick Stahl, just a host of very talented people. And it was directed and partially written by Michael Oblowitz. So check it out, guys, when it comes out.
Guys, the film is coming out on the 27th of June.
Yeah, 27th of June.
Yep, 27th of June. Got it.
Get it. Ready to be seen. Before you see it digitally, go watch it in a movie house and really see it.
I hope that it comes over here, because I do want to see it in theaters versus it being out in my living room, because this has a cinematic taste and value to it, to where I think that you guys need to go in and check this movie out, because you're not going to get the same vibe that you do sitting on your couch. You're not going to get the love of Cypress Hill being echoed through the alleys of New York City. You're not going to get the cinematography, the way that Michael brought the cinematography, or the directing of what Michael did, or the music, because it's a love story to New York, and you need to experience this love story to New York by watching this movie and also experiencing the music behind it. So go ahead, check out his film, and always until next time, guys, it's been real, it's been fun, I can't wait to see it again, and we'll catch you on the next one.